All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to SEO Unmasked number 15. Like I was saying on Facebook today, it's been 15 weeks, and I find it hard to believe it's been, what is that, coming up on 4 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's episode 15, November 8th of 2017. Glad to have you here with us tonight. I'm Garrett Scroff.
I'm Ben DeLitto.
I'm Steve Brownlee. I chilled out too much now. I normally cut Ben off. This time I was like, just mellow out.
That will never not be funny.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't have much going on this week. I guess it's only Wednesday, but finally I got on the case study site, finally have a link made up. I don't know if the team's done any links to it yet. I kind of doubt it. But and then I got the front page sales copy up on it. So hopefully before the year end, we can actually have some sort of update on a case study I've been promising for 3 months. But
well, we only started it a week ago, though, so we're actually making quite a bit of progress for 1 week. Like when he remembered about it last week on the show, he actually ordered the work, and so we're 1 weekend. So let's not pretend it's 3 months in. We're 1 weekend. We've got copy, website up, started the link building. I mean, there's no excuse to be any slower than that if it's actually your serious project. I mean, no one's paid us. This is just like a free case study we're doing for a bit of fun. Born of Garrett's buddies. So
I mean, outside of writing or ordering the content, whichever you do, I mean, it's really like a day's work. So it's nothing that nobody can't do.
Yeah, exactly. So let's not beat ourselves up for taking our time, you know.
Yeah, I got the old test sites are almost back up. Had some technical errors with one of them, and then had what's his name, Reese McDonald, Divi Guru, hack in there and change everything because I don't know, one of them is just a mess. But I think we got it all sorted out now, and some fresh content from Vin on there, and
yeah, good old Vin. He writes the stuff, but we don't have time to. Get your orders in with word agents.
Then the other
was that premium article I sent over today?
No. Garrett sent over just a random article.
It was probably already a month ago.
It was like 2 articles on just random topics.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
5 different sites, 2 articles each.
Yeah, and then if Zach gets his ass in gear, Zach, if you're watching, let's get the other site. You have your work allotted to you here. It's been a while. Let's get that other one going here.
Yeah. Let us know what you need from Ben, and we'll get the order in. Like, not like you got to write it yourself, man. Just give us the titles.
And then our other 2 main sites, Zoe is working on those. So it's going to be a busy January, I think.
It is. How many sites have we got on the go at the minute? We got like an insane.
We got the four that I'm slowly fixing, plus the case study site, plus the suit site that I need to fix still, and then I have 3 other big ideas, but those might have to wait for a few months.
So we got 8 sites basically on the go.
Yeah, so we better get these done. I actually saw a meme on one of the SEO groups that was like, for guys that keep buying like age domains, like it's like this woman walking into it. I don't know what the fuck it was, but new premium age domains up for auction, better buy it. But then like the next is like, I already have 300 domains waiting to actually work. I don't know, dumb. But
well, I've only got 21 age domains so far. So.
I have a bunch of like domains that have never done anything.
Yeah,
I was going to say though, in the scheme of things though, this week, Garrett and I. We've just completed our first webinar.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Influencer marketing. So, like, while we're terrible at being authority site builders, we're actually pretty good at running a business, and we're really excited to bring it to you guys because it's all the stuff that we learned in link building back in the day. The same mistakes people are making now as they're getting into influencer marketing. But unlike before, when it took us like 7 to 9 years before we bothered to feel confident enough to share everything about it, what we've realized is we can share everything we do and no one does it anyway because
that's the truth, man. That's very true.
So So we're not waiting 9 years this time. We're actually going to tell you what everyone is doing wrong on influencer marketing right away. We've done the webinar. The link's going to be in the description of the video at the end. You don't have to wait to the end to see it, though. We're not going to get to you guys right at the beginning. You watch the end to the reveal. Or if you're already watching this on a replay, then you can just click on and skip the rest of the video, you know. Good for you for not watching us live. Screw you and all that. But yeah, we're really excited about it because it's going to really help a lot of businesses that are trying to get into the influencer space without making all the mistakes that everyone made in link building back in the old days. It's the same bullshit, you know, paying people $1,000 for nothing. Yeah, $1,000 a link to rent it. You know, it's like $50,000 to an influencer that's going to send one up and you're going to get like 4,000 clicks. It's like, what? Like, you've got to off just run Facebook ads. Like, we're going to show you how to actually do it at a price that's cheaper than advertising. So, same way as we do on link building. I mean, you can rent links for more than you pay us to get them for you permanently with natural outreach. And we walk you through it on the influencer stuff as well. So, our first webinar, super cool. Link will be in the description.
Yes, I will make a note to put that in.
Cool, man.
Anyways, yeah, I'll put it in there tomorrow sometime.
The site goes live tomorrow.
Yeah. First up in the news today, guys at whoever Buffer app is have put together a nice little update on everything they think that the Facebook algorithm is looking for.
You can tell Garrett's a paid advertising guy. Like, whatever the fuck this Buffer thing is.
Well, I just don't know.
Yeah, the most famous app for like people who don't do paid advertising on social for them to do their free stuff. He's like, yeah, whatever these peasants to do free shit to use. But yeah, I thought this.
Stop typing.
Ben,
So what do we got?
You're drowning us out, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
You got to get us quite a keyboard.
But yeah, basically the article. I don't even know the article.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, after I like kind of read it and thought about it, a lot of it makes sense. Like let's say I'm writing a lot of posts, and Facebook kind of takes. I almost want to compare it to like what Matt Cutts used to always say in his whiteboard shit about SEO, and now it's Facebook or these guys are kind of doing it for social media. Like, it should really be about, if you're sharing stuff, it should be stuff that your friends and family are engaging in, because I mean, it's supposed to be your actual social circle, not just the thousands of people that you don't even talk to. And they go into depth about stuff like, obviously the algorithm is going to like stuff that has lots of unique and real likes, comments, and shares. Videos that receive not just a large number of views, but very quickly. And if the video has to do with like a trending topic, like if the video is on, let me look. I have Facebook up. Let me look at my trending.
The most interesting thing on that for me was just around the stuff we've been joking about on the show with LinkedIn. Where you can just beg for comments, you can beg for likes, they're actually explicitly optimizing against that on Facebook now. And so my ridiculous experiments on LinkedIn would not work on Facebook at all. Like, that's well,
I mean, it's smart. It's smart because it's gonna drive quality up, which is
well,
really...
that's actually something that really pisses me off in a lot of these SEO and digital marketing groups. They'll have some new product coming out or a new bullshit case study or any kind of that shit, and they will say, got this cool new thing coming out, line break. Make sure to say hashtag link building in it. That was one today. Or hashtag case study, or hashtag this, or just say I'm in, or I want to learn SEO. And they use that to get tons and tons of engagement, so that when they have a group of like 20,000 people, obviously their organic reach is very limited, but they're trying to use that to game it, because now all of a sudden they have like the entire group like, oh my god, this guy's putting out a new case study, and we all got to comment the exact same word on it. And that's all it is like 10,000 comments of I'm in.
Yeah. I've
and
seen
LinkedIn, they're doing the same. Yeah, but Facebook's trying to eliminate it, whereas I mean, LinkedIn is the Bing of social media, isn't it? It's like a step behind. Like stuff that, you know,
Well,
like
look
you
who
get
owns them.
penalized. Like we joked about, like you get penalized on Google, you just keep making money from Bing as if nothing's happened. You know, like
yeah.
LinkedIn's the same. Like the bullshit that, and all these dickwads are coming on to LinkedIn now, going, oh, stop moaning that your feed is shit now. It's because us influencers have come because it's becoming a place for us to be. And it's like, no, you realize that Facebook's cutting your reach, but you can still game this retarded algorithm and piss us all off, making us look at your bullshit content. Like, why is the most successful thing I've ever shared on LinkedIn my fucking mongoose eating my cat? Like, give me a break. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
Make up a bullshit starting title that's so appealing that people can't figure out what the hell it's about. Type another sentence underneath that teases them with a gap in between of one line. Space the rest of your bullshit out one line apart. Have a motivational ending. Get 1 bazillion views. That's LinkedIn. I think it's super cool that Facebook trying to stop that. And I think this is a really good guide for how you can actually do quality stuff on Facebook. It's not your bullshit, my mongoose ate my cat kind of tip that I've been giving you in the don't tweet this about LinkedIn because LinkedIn's broken at the minute. This is actually a good guide to doing good stuff on Facebook and what's actually driving the algorithm, things that you can do that are actually not just going to get you exposure on it because it games the algorithm. It's actually stuff that makes sense from the long term as well. Like authentic communication, who can argue with that? You know, scroll down a bit more. I mean, kind of at the top at the minute because I kind of go onto my LinkedIn rant. But you know, when they're talking about posts that people prefer more than others, and photo, video, and status updates, that makes a lot of sense. Whereas on LinkedIn, you've got ridiculous clickbaity title that makes people click more. You know, these are all things that actually make sense that would be good for the people receiving the content as well as just the influencer that's sharing it, which I think is, in the long term, that's sustainable.
Yeah, I thought this was cool because like you compared it to what Google was doing, you know, back in the day with how they ran their algo. But what's cool about this is it looks like all this information is straight from the horse's mouth.
Right. Yeah.
Adam, whoever, VP of product management.
Yeah.
Usually, like Matt Cotts, we just get allusions to what we should be doing, but here he's just like laying it out for us and telling us exactly what the deal is. So, kind of takes the mystery out of it. And,
the only one that really shocked me was the text-only status updates from pages, because there was a while because people kind of like a good read. And we did a couple of ads where we just took a whole blog post and pasted the whole blog post in as a status update on Facebook. And I'm not going to claim credit for the idea. It was $1 Gary Vaynerchuk's idea. He was doing it, and so I just copied it. I took one of our blog posts, gave it to Garrett. Garrett pasted it in, ran the ad strategy for it. But it was hugely successful for getting opt-ins, and it's kind of interesting that Facebook doesn't like that kind of update, text-only update. So that was kind of a surprise because that discourages people from posting all of their media and all of their content straight on Facebook. But I think they have a lot less fear than, say, LinkedIn about driving people off the platform. I think they're less at risk than that than LinkedIn, maybe.
Cool, man.
Yeah. Next on the agenda we had was, I don't know what it is, but it's every Friday. Barry at the round table is always, it's always some fucking update overnight. It's like after we do the show, it's like, oh, Barry has the report. Weather charts are off the out of the world and whatever. I'm too tired to think. But
I love that he always quotes Webmaster World because That's a forum I'm never on. And, like,
know.
do you guys ever go on that?
I've never been on it in my life, and I have a feeling.
But
I have
it's
a
from
feeling
back
it's
in
one
the-
of like the lowest quality, disgusting cesspools of.
It's just old. It just looks like
I mean,
it's
it used to be legit back in the day. I mean, back when Barry started this site, that was where you were. Like, I mean, people are everywhere now. It's kind of split up a lot. You know, there's Builder Society, Black Hat World, all the, you know, depending on where you are on the spectrum. But back in the day, Webmaster World was the main one. But I'd like to see, like Garrett said, I'd like to see some different different sources in today's world.
You
Because
know,
I haven't seen anything on Builder Society about any of these updates. No one
you know,
seems
so that's the thing. That's what I wanted to say today. Like, obviously, I've never taken the time. You guys have never taken the time to like look into where Barry gets this shit from. I mean, we know where he's getting it from, but these users that he quotes, the weather updater things, like, do we need to like do our own case study and publish this? Like, is it week after week? Are they rolling it out against different niches where it's a refresh every week? Is it the same thing over and over, but it's only affecting, like, they're, let's just say they're targeting, they've been doing like a live update every Thursday night at 2 a.m. Central Time or some shit, let's just say. Is it always targeting links, but they're only hitting like 1% and then 1% and then 1%? Like, no one really seems to have any idea what's actually happening. And traffic is either up for some people or down for some people, but it's never the same people. So it's,
well, if you look at the Mozcast graph, it's like basically flat. I mean, compared with 3 years ago where the temperature was rarely. I mean, obviously, because originally the temperature was calibrated to be an average day's temperature, so it was usually around 70 to 80 degrees. Now it's always like, Utah is the kind of range it's in. So I think the volatility of the SERPs has increased. That Muller chap, was it, who said that Mozcast was his favorite of all the tools because it reflected their internal reporting the closest, but that even it was still too spazzy compared with what they saw. Like, they see like a 1% change and the Moz temperature goes up 10 degrees and stuff. But I think the volatility is higher in the SERPs now because they are rolling out real-time updates. I mean, if you think about it, before when they had to do a Penguin update, it had to be on a set date, 6 months apart or 4 months apart or whenever they got around to doing one. Now a lot of stuff's baked in, so you're going to see a lot more volatility because it's day to day. They can roll out an update on whatever day they feel like, and they might feel like Friday works better for them because they can test it during the week and roll it out for the weekend and then see how it's gone on the next workday. That might just make sense from their internal testing and what works for them, which might be why we're seeing it so much on a Friday. But it makes sense the temperature is higher when you've got rolling updates instead of one random day at 140 and then it's down to 80.
Absolutely.
For me, I've been, every time I see one of these articles, I instantly go to my rank tracker and my analytics and see if I can figure something out about what's going on. And the only thing I see is my traffic keeps on going up, but my target keywords, or I guess you would say the head keyword for the topic, it's impossible to move. Or it doesn't move at all. It's just fluctuating a few spots here and there. But I'm getting these crazy long tails that for terms that aren't even in the article, but I'm getting clicks from them. So for me, it's been good. Traffic has been up. But getting the actual target keywords I'm going after for a given article, it's it seems like I'm not making any headway on it whatsoever.
I think that makes sense though, because for those head terms, you need to have more authority than the other sites in the niche
right.
rank there, and your site's pretty new.
Yeah.
Without revealing anything to anyone, I mean, you've been in the game 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah. And this,
you can't expect to have more authority than them, but the content you're writing is a lot better. So you'd expect it to start winning the long tails first. I mean, I think that makes sense, right? I mean, it does.
It's a concept JB from Circle was talking about it. I think he talked about it on Builder Society, where he believes that like you kind like Google has keyword tiers where like I guess you would say search volume tiers, like 10 to 100, and then 100 to 500, and then 500 to 5,000, whatever. And his theory is that you got to win each tier before you're going to get the authority to be able to rank for the next level of traffic volume tier. And that's kind of what I'm saying too. Like right now, I'm like dominating, keywords that have search volume of like 500 and less. And
that makes a lot of sense, because remember a few weeks ago on the show, I was talking about one of our sites which has like town listings, and it's really unpredictable which towns are going to rank. You try and guess which would be a difficult town, and sometimes you just straight on to page one and you put the town live. Other times, it just doesn't move for ages, then it starts drifting up. And that makes a lot of sense, because maybe because obviously Google has a much better idea what the actual traffic for those towns is and which tier it's in. So if they had something like that, it would make a lot of sense.
If you have a big list of track keywords, just filter it by search volume, and you're probably dominating the lower search volumes, which
we are. Actually, we are on the lower ones, definitely.
This is somewhat unrelated, but I meant to talk about it today. So, two of these sites that we were rebuilding, one of them was totally fucked. It had gotten hacked, and I couldn't get the virus out of that cPanel account. It just kept manifesting itself. I would find that file it was in, but then it'd be in another file. So for a couple weeks, the site was just totally deleted. Google totally de-indexed it. It was just totally gone. And now it's back up. It's very, very slowly being indexed. It has a crawl budget of nearly nothing, apparently. But I'm wondering, do you think this would be a good scenario where a site like this might get sandboxed? Because it's kind of the same situation where someone has taken a site that might have expired, they picked it up really cheaply, restored it via something like Wayback Machine, which is exactly what I did, but in totally different pretense. And now all of a sudden it's back in relatively the same form. So I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen with that site, because it didn't rank great, but it did rank for stuff. So
yeah, I'm just trying to see if we've made any money from it.
Oh.
Just trying to bring it up.
I don't have the contact form back on that one yet, so.
Oh, okay. So
it wouldn't have made any money yet.
Yeah. For me, it's like anytime I make a change, the page that I make the change to disappears for anywhere between 30 and 60 days. So, if you're bringing a site back from the dead, maybe that period's gonna be longer. But I definitely think there's some kind of sandbox going on when you pull sites back from Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
Well, it's become such an obvious thing. Every Black Hat forum talks about doing it, and
right.
I posted about someone posted about, I've spotted these things on a PPM or something on Builder Society, and I was like, well, now you've read it, you know that doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Think more objectively before
Yeah. I just think it's interesting, and fortunately, we're in a position where if it takes 3 months to get on Sandbox, who gives a fuck? We're still gonna keep building links to it and doing the right shit, and it'll start making money eventually. But the guys that freak out about it, it's just funny. It pops up in the SEO group so often. Oh my fucking god! I've stuck $200 into this site and I'm sandboxed. I'm gonna go broke. It's like I've spent more than that in the last day just doing shit on it. So it's who cares? But
I mean, both of my main sites, I totally have a 10-year horizon before.
Yeah.
I'm expecting to be dominating.
Yeah.
So it's at one point on one side of things, it kind of makes me a little bit lazy because I'm it's a slow burn, whatever. I'll get to it later.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's nice because I can just chip away at it slowly when I get the time, and
right.
And every improvement is just that. It's an improvement, however small it might be.
Yeah, for sure. Next up tonight for the local search guys, I've actually noticed this months
This
ago.
is really fucking cool and useful.
Yeah, I've noticed it months ago, but not for a lot of stuff. And it seems they must have rolled it out in a much larger scale. But it is pretty cool. I don't know exactly how they're getting the data, but it is nice to know, like, if you're going to go out to dinner and you're a little bit flexible on your time at a really popular restaurant. Some restaurants are just absolutely fucking slammed from 5 to 7, but at 7:30 it's like you can get any table you want. So
Yeah,
it's
so Google's now showing in the knowledge graph that the current wait times for, I guess, service businesses. So
do you think
want to know?
do you think they're pulling that data from like OpenTable, where OpenTable?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because a couple of my clients are on OpenTable, and I got to see some of the analytics that they have,
Oh,
and it's like tied right into their POS system, so it has everything that you could possibly need.
oh, really?
So
Okay.
I wonder if it's just like a setting in like Google My Business or Analytics or Search Console or something where you can tie into a third party piece of data like that.
I mean, they've done for a while. Been able to tell you, like for advertising, they know when you visited, like you do a pay-per-click ad. They've been trying to attribute the conversions in store to Google advertising based on tracking Android phone users. And given that Android is 80% of the phone market now, 70%, something like that, they've got pretty good data on where everyone is in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if they know a restaurant has 80 tables and there's 160 people in there, they can be pretty sure there's a wait. And they know every night how many people are in there. And they can see people coming up and then leaving again, not going in.
This might sound stupid, but
if
they were doing that, would they have to disclose that it's only an estimate? Because they can't be sure. I mean, Wi-Fi data and cellular data is only so accurate on location.
Well, I think you have to assume it's an estimate anyway. I mean,
well,
this
is the United States of America. Is it a matter of time until someone gets sued? Google said there was no one at this restaurant, but it turns out they were absolutely full, and there was a 2-hour wait time. That's going to be a lawsuit.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
Let
me know when the lawsuit hits the Wall Street Journal.
I mean, you can just. I mean, I don't know if it would happen, but you can see something dumb like that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think they've probably got a little star there. Yeah, well, so you guys are in America. Do a search for your local restaurant and see if you can get it to come up and see what it says.
I will.
Google's pretty smart about putting disclaimers and stuff. They're not idiots.
Popular wait times.
So my client, the one I was just talking to, has the wait time on it. Right now it says popular times.
If you click the question mark, it says based on visits to this place. So is that based on?
They're doing what I said. Then they're using the Android data and visits.
The check-in data, like when you check in.
They check in or geolocating or anything.
They're just using your Android phone.
So right now,
it's where you are pretty accurately, because who turns their GPS off? And even if you turn it off, you turn it back on. Because I had a habit of turning mine off, and I just gave up. Because every time you use your sat nav, you turn it back on again. It's like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's like Lola's Lake House in Waconia. It's 6:39 here. Live, a little busy. It's not as busy as usual, according to the graph, but it's estimating a 15-minute wait, so they must have some sort of data on. So that's pretty interesting.
Okay, so I'm looking at a business that doesn't have OpenTable. It's more of like a grow, almost something above fast food, and there's no wait times. But everybody that does have like an OpenTable or something like that, they do have the popular times. And it's actually pretty cool. You can sort it by the day of the week, get the popular times, but you also get the live wait time. So like right now, it says less busy than usual, but the normal wait time would be 15 minutes. So but the fact that it's not on restaurants that don't have like
Right.
an open table or you know what have you.
Something. Yeah.
There's something going on there.
Yeah. Maybe it's a combination of both.
Yeah, for sure. That's cool. This is the first time I've seen this actually. Though.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, I've noticed it slowly, like for I don't know, like random shit. Because right now I'm living in the middle of nowhere, and there's one pizza place in town that closes at like 7:30 p.m. and I Google like how late is this piece of shit open, and that's when I first started noticing that the popular time thing. But it's interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, now I'm searching every single restaurant I know about. So
I never use online for restaurants though. I mean, I just phone up and book a time. Like, can I get a table for 3?
yeah. I'm an open table nut. Let's book it like the morning of if I know I'm going that night. And
yeah, that's what I mean. Like you book, like it doesn't matter whether you do it on the phone, whether you do it with the app, whether you do it with Open Table. You book your table and you go. Like I guess there are people that I'm hungry now. Let's see where I can get a shorter wait. So I mean, it's a cool feature. It's kind of interesting that they've invested in it. I don't know if it's like the most valuable feature they've ever done, but it's just one.
Well, Google has a lot of features that over the years that have been too valuable.
It's one more thing where people don't need to leave the sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where they're building for the future. Like it might not be that valuable now, but when you like grab your phone and you're like, I need a pizza now, and they're like, yeah, the shortest wait time is at Giorgio is up the street. That's pretty locked down, isn't it?
Cool. I'll actually keep an eye on this and how it develops.
I mean, I think voice is going to be huge, and I think Google's
I was actually just thinking about
Google's
that.
behind Amazon.
And you know, like I've been stubborn about even considering it, but what got me was the new Alexa commercial where the guy's down in the kitchen making a smoothie and it blows up everywhere. Like, who gives a fuck about that? But his wife his wife is upstairs like, Alexa, tell Tom, what the fuck are you doing? And it's just like, it's gonna be in everyone's house, and people are gonna use it for that. And
except Steve says.
Yeah. But you know, it's just like,
well, I'm not having Alexa in my house. And fucking I'm like, what the fuck's that for? But I mean, they're behind Alexa at the minute for sure. Google. I mean, there's no question. Amazon have stolen a march on that front. But if they can add some really powerful features like that, you're going to use your phone again, even if you've got an Alexa box in your house. Yeah. And if they can get you back on your phone, you don't need Alexa anymore. You know, okay, Google, who has the shortest wait time? Okay, Google, also. Because it was kind of cool, like watching Alexa. I mean, I think we're going to build our first Alexa skill in the next 6 months, just for fun, to see what we can do with it. How many downloads?
I mean, to be honest,
something stupid. You know, we're going to hire just get an outsourced development company, give them $500, come up with an idea, get them to build an Alexa skill, get it in the marketplace, promote it with $1,000 on Facebook. We're definitely going to do that. Garrett and I will do that over the next 6 months for sure, because it's just something that you've got to test at the minute. There's so much going on with voice, and voice is going to be the future. So you got to have a play, even if it's not there yet. I mean, we've got friends who they just get their phone out and they're like, okay, Google, tell me this. And you're like, well, what are you doing? One of our older friends, he asked all of his navigation, he's like, directions to the Bellagio, Las Vegas. It gives him, there's the whole range of people. And I think to the older generation, the voice is actually more comfortable to them than the mouse and keyboard was going back to when I was growing up. And the older generation would pick the mouse up and the screen. Like, voice doesn't need any human training. Older people know how to say, okay, Google, where's the Bellagio? And as long as Google can understand that question, they don't have to learn anything.
Yeah.
It says,
yeah, for me, like I've never used like Siri or Cortana or any voice command tool or what have you. I don't know if it's just because we're on Google all the time and we know how to type in keywords to get exactly what we want immediately. But for me, I just haven't seen any useful value out of using that.
Doesn't understand me. Like Microsoft's one, whatever it was called. What's the Microsoft one called? Cortana.
Cortana, yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft voice recognition understands me with an English accent. If I want Google Voice to understand me, I have to put on a fake American accent. Well, it's actually more Canadian because it's like really high pitched. I have to go like, "Jeepers, Google, tell me where." Like it understands.
I have to hear that one more time, or like the last year.
It understands that perfectly. But if I speak correctly, like I speak now, it doesn't understand the word I'm saying. It's like, and I'm not going to walk around in public doing that, trying to tell it to give me directions. It's like
yeah.
I have a pretty standard accent. You know, there's like 80 million people who speak roughly like I do.
Yeah,
I don't want to speak like a Canadian just to get directions, for God's sake.
I was thinking about getting away from the iPhone and trying out the new Google Pixel 2. And
you need to get away from the iPhone. And what is this, like 1994 or something? Where you've still got an iPhone?
It works for me, but
yeah, you know, I have an iPhone. What did I just get? Did I get a 7 last summer? I don't know I don't even know what the fuck, but I think this will be. I think this will be the last one. I think I'll just get an Android. And the only reason I ever had an iPhone was because, like 7 years ago, and I was broke.
Convenient.
I was broke. I had an upgrade at Verizon back when you could still get a free phone for an upgrade, and I'm like, what can I get for free? I need a smartphone. And they're just like, okay, we have a 3-year-old iPhone 4. All right, I'll take it. And then I just been using Apple ever since. I had a 6 that lasted about 10 months, and then I just quit. Now I have a 7, and I don't know. I don't know, because I've never learned Android. It's like whatever. It's the same amount of money.
I just feel like I feel like we don't use Facebook and social media and Google and any search engine like it's intended to be used. So a lot of the features that are there don't really apply to us. But yeah, I
think that's a really good point that you just made. I mean, I think when you think about what marketing you're doing and what you're like Garrett always laughs at me when I talk about webinars, and we've done one finally and things like that. Your regular person just wants to sit and watch a webinar and be taught stuff. Like we don't want to sit through a fucking webinar. Yeah. But you got to remember what your end customer wants, and they don't want what we want. They don't think the way we think. They don't think back day in out. That's their job.
Got to think back to 15 and 16 years old when the internet was still new and exciting to you, and there were still things to be discovered. There still is, but my personal thing is like I start to deconstruct it right away. Like, how did they do that? Like, how did they make that happen? Whereas, the normal average internet user is just engrossed in the actual feature itself rather than, trying to break it down. So, that's a good marketing point. I think you have to kind of remember that not everybody understands the technology as well as we do. So if you're able to put yourself
and it's what we criticize clients for, like when I don't mean like now we still do it with some experience, but when we first started our agencies, I bet we've all thought the same. They're like, oh, I want this button to be this blue color. Why can you change this font to this and all this kind of nonsense? They're micromanaging all this stuff because they're doing it from their preference. They're like, I would like it to be this blue. They're not thinking what would convert more, what's going to make my business more money. And we kind of fall into that same trap as we become experienced marketers. We're like, I would hate this webinar. I'm not going to run this webinar. But then you show it to some people and they're like, oh, this is amazing. You shared so much value. And you feel like you didn't share any value because it was all stuff that you knew. You have to take a step back and think, it's not what you want, it's what the end user wants. And I think Google's pretty good at that, to be honest. I mean, I think...
I was just reading an article yesterday. I don't know if you shared it with me or what, but it was about how you have to start the sales journey or the marketing journey from where the the target is, not where you are. And too many marketers start with
Yeah, it's
from
definitely a bad habit
Yeah.
that I have.
so you gotta start the journey where your target is, not where you are. And you might be going through stuff, like it's like tedious that you have to even talk about it. But that's how you're gonna capture your visitors' attention, by taking them from the beginning, or for wherever they are on the journey, to where you want them to go.
Yeah, and it's the same as the old advice that salespeople used to get, like don't use industry slang, don't use abbreviations, all that kind of stuff. We're kind of just full circle. We do it in our authority articles. We throw them full of abbreviations and stuff because we think that's how everyone thinks, but no one else thinks that way.
Yeah.
You have to write it for the people who you're trying to sell to. And that's why, Google's criticized for prioritizing articles that have an easier reading score. And, snobbishly we say, well, why can't I use my 7-syllable words and my... But at the end of the day, they're trying to give the results that give their users the most satisfaction, and articles that they understand without having to get the dictionary out are going to satisfy them more at the end of the day. I'm sure that's something Vin's addressed with his writers numerous times. I'm sure like some of because we have some on our team as well, and they want to use these more sophisticated words because they've done English at a top university and stuff like that, and they think we're being petty saying you can't use that word. Come on, dumb it down, speak in straightforward English. They think we're being petty about it, but it's about writing it in a way that the end user will understand it 100% of the time. Because even if you drop to 95% of your readers understand it, how many people wouldn't take a 5% improvement in conversion rate?
Right. And that's like the barrier that especially my business is facing as we try to get more like enterprise and corporate clients. It has nothing to do with the SEO stuff anymore. It's all about being on brand. It's all about understanding the client and the customer, the copywriting aspect of it. And that's why you get writers that demands over $1 per word, because they understand that really well, and they're able to hit those points time and time again. So a little bit of a learning curve, but we'll get there.
It's interesting. It's really interesting. I mean, I think a lot of the time your enterprise clients are probably wrong. They should just focus on the SEO a little bit more.
I mean, that's going to be a rabbit hole. That's going to be a rabbit hole I don't want to go down.
Because that whole on-brand thing it's all well and good, but if you're on brand for the 10,000 people who actually bother to come to your site anyway,
right?
Those people already were going to fucking buy.
That would be a good case. It would be a good case study to see like a corporate brand that right now they're getting 100 visits a day, and they're using on-brand corporate content to convert those 100 visitors. But may it be better if we did a keyword-targeted article and got 10,000 visits a day? What was the conversion doing?
You look at the biggest publishers that are really driving search. They don't give a shit about brand.
They don't give a shit about what?
On brand. We've worked for billion pound companies in the finance space, and they don't give a shit about on brand. It's all about driving more traffic because they'll convert them on the page through like giving the value on the page. And the new people don't know your brand.
Right.
There's no on. I mean, they don't want to be off brand. Like, there's a difference between being 100% on brand and being off brand. Like, they don't want to be off brand. Like, it's not showing the.
Yeah.
Like if it was a brand that was traditionally, pro the kind of poorer demographic, or they wouldn't want to have a link bait about rich people spending money on Maseratis or something. It can't be off brand, but on brand is a wider range, I think, than most brands realize. And if they haven't been prepared to play the search game and see what the upside is, they can really buttonhole themselves in, and they can be losing, I think. And we've seen so many winners. We've seen so many winners who don't think about that stuff. They're like, "Oh, that's a cool idea. Let's give it a whirl."
Yeah. Well, I think what the bigger problem is just that these companies, they create their content strategy and they have a structure for what their content's going to be, and everybody in the company is on, is down with that. But what they don't realize is the opportunity cost of sticking with that no matter what. Where there's other strategies.
It's like everything in big companies. Like they make a department, and the department justifies itself by enforcing those rules. I mean, I'm not going to go on an HR rant because I've done quite a few of those human resources rants. And Garrett's chuckling. I've gone on a lot of human resources rants, but the human resources department is an exercise in self-justification. So they come up with some rules and they justify themselves by enforcing those rules.
Yeah.
And if you bring in a head of content like strategy, and then he hires or she hires 50 people to come up with a brand like messaging, they're all of their jobs depend on that being the right decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And you tell them, well, look, SEO is going to like blow this out of the water. You just like get some proper pages up that Google actually wants to rank. You're going to make 20 times the money.
Yeah.
Suddenly going to fire 50 people, and that guy's an idiot. Their job is to tell you to fuck yourself, even if it costs the company money, and that's a big problem for brands. And I think the people at the top brands, the head of marketing, needs to be brave enough to say, if I've just paid $20,000 to a big search company, I've brought in Sear Interactive, I brought in I'm From the Future, I brought in Distilled, whoever, I don't know. I mean, I'm naming the ones that I know. I'm not like big on following who everyone, all the enterprise people are using these days. But you bring in one of those big enterprise search companies, and you just paid them $50,000, and they tell you none of your pages are ranking because they're like 300 words long, and there's some cheesy, funny brand shit. Yeah. You need to write 2,000 words, and you need to educate people who don't know who the fuck you are, and then you'll rank. If you've just paid a load of money to someone who's an expert and who works with 300 companies and they're all doing well, the head of marketing needs to be brave enough to say to the head of content, we need to try some of this as part of our strategy too. It's
well, what I run into most times is the head of marketing, they're looking down their nose at me like I don't know what I'm talking about, and it's just they live in a little bubble and they don't see the rest of the world.
Yes, I mean, if your job title is head of marketing and you're watching this, Vin knows better than you. Sorry, buddy.
Not at all things, but when it comes to
when it comes to content, when it comes to what Vin does, like you know better about running, like 100%, you know better than Vin how to run the marketing campaign, multi-channel across like 50 channels for an enterprise company. You 100% know better than Vin. But when it comes to content, he knows better than you.
Right.
And if you think differently, sorry, buddy, you're an idiot.
And what I say to them, is
if you want.
I just say these are the best practices. This is what has worked in the past. Here are examples of how it worked. And here you go. If you want to accept that, we can definitely help you out. If you don't,
how many clients? That's the thing. How many clients have you helped with content over the last 2 years? A couple hundred or something?
Hundreds, yeah.
And all of them are seeing progressive growth. And you're the head of marketing at one brand with one site with one strategy, and you're not seeing the result. And this is the thing. Some of you people who are turning your nose up at someone like Vin who's telling you the right thing to do with your content, you're not seeing the results that you want. So you're failing, and you're telling Vin he's wrong when he's helped hundreds of sites. It's a nonsense.
And a lot of times, the people that are ordering content are not empowered to make any kind of change decisions either. So, I'm not saying that all corporate and enterprise level marketing teams are missing out.
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus here, but they can phone me and argue with me if they want. My number's easy enough to find. I'll talk to any of you about how Vin knows better.
A lot of times it's like they're like, hey Vin, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, but I can't convince my boss otherwise. I can't. This is what they want, and unfortunately, we're not going to move forward because it's not on brand or whatever, what have you. And there's so much. We could probably even start a side business just going into these corporate businesses and educating them on search. Because there's so much misinformation and confusion in these corporate marketing teams about how to use keywords, how to use search intent, how to, even it's the simple, even the hook, hooking them into an article. So much confusion, and a lot of times I would be stepping out of bounds to correct them, and you just got to be like, all right, it's like a take it or leave it type of thing, and that's that. But
yeah,
as time goes on, I think the big brands are starting to come around. We saw New York Times pick up the Sweet Home and Wirecutter, so that's a move in the right direction. And
well, I think the New York Times have been really smart players in the current space. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're the only paywalled mass media provider that's actually been successful with implementing their paywall and making money from it and maintaining their journalism. And now they're also buying like just pure search plays and building a media empire. I think there's some super smart guys there, and I think if you're a big brand and you're struggling, you could learn a lot from what the New York Times is up to, because the Wirecutter is definitely not on brand with the New York Times. And yet,
well, who owns the New York Times? Are they actually owned by themselves, or who owns them?
No, there's some guy bought them. I can't remember who.
Same guy that owns like every other.
No. I mean, like who does Jeff Bezos own? Is it the Washington Post he bought?
I don't know.
You're Americans. You should know who owns
I don't read the fucking news. I canceled the Wall Street Journal. Like me. And
did we talk about this last week?
You still owned it on like week 3 of the show.
No, I mean I just recently canceled it. Yeah. I know Vin and I were talking about that stupid.
The Gothamist is that what we're talking about? The guy, the Gothamist shut down this week they're slowly shutting down over the course of the next couple of months because their labor tried to unionize, and the private ownership just shut down the entire conglomerate of the publications that they had, and it was insane. But that's a whole other thing.
I mean, when I really lost respect for the Wall Street Journal was the whole PewDiePie situation, where they slandered him. I don't know. I mean, I guess being in Britain, it was clearly slander. In American law, you can just say whatever you like. I can
call. Why not? It's just words.
I can call Ben a fat pig, even though he's clearly not very fat, and that's fine in America.
I'm working on it, Steve. I went back to the gym last week, man.
Yeah. No, I'm a fat pig at the minute, to be honest. It's pretty hypocritical of me to criticize, but I mean, but like, they made these allegations about what he'd said. And they took all of the clips out of context. They were like, "Oh, he did."
How is it any different than any other media source in the fucking world?
Well, it's no different. I think
it's no different.
Is that how it's different is that I used to trust the Wall Street Journal because they used to report really, really well on stuff, and to see them become like the Sun over here. For those of you in Britain, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know what you've got. Like,
it's interesting you say that, and it's not really surprising that they've had to go down that route because, I mean, let's be honest, of like our people our age, who's actually reading that shit anymore? Like, I'm 27. You turn back the clock 20 years ago, and like my age group, how much of their subscriber base was my age versus now? Like, there's no 27-year-old other than me reading the fucking Wall Street Journal. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, I must admit that's true. I mean, I don't have the Financial Times coming.
And even in other I guess you can say that for a lot of traditional print media, but especially 30 and under is just dead for anybody.
When I was 18, if you told me at 18 that at my age now, I wouldn't have the Financial Times coming to the house, I'd have been like, well, I used to come on. Of course I will. And like Garrett now, he's even younger, cancelled his Wall Street Journal. I mean, so I understand the pressures they're under, but it's a shame to see such a respected brand. I never thought I would be reading that nonsense from them, taking out of context quotes and going on about some YouTuber. Like, it wasn't even a real story. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, PewDiePie can be a real idiot a lot of the time. Like, you can actually get him really easily with some proper journalism and just actually picking apart his because he's not like Ethan from HD Productions, who like deeply thinks about the stuff he says when he goes on to a social topic. PewDiePie just rants. Like, you can pick him apart with sound arguments and good journalism. You don't have to fake it to rip him a new one.
Right.
I mean, he's an entertainer. He's he's good at what he does. He's got a lot of traffic. He's made a lot of money from YouTube. You just can't argue with what he's done. But if you want to have an argument with him, you can beat him with intelligence. You don't have to beat him with fake bullshit. It was a real shame to see the Wall Street Journal take a load of stuff out of context and just run with it. You know, when you can't respect the Wall Street Journal, it's like,
yeah. You guys always make me feel like I'm not reading enough too, because I mean, I don't know.
You need to read a bit more.
I do my best, but it's for me. It's usually like when I have a question or I need something answered, then I go search out the answer, and I'll read 20 blog posts or 20 articles on the topic I'm researching. But I don't have time to read a paper every morning.
No, that's the thing. I think I told you guys the reason I got it was to be part of my routine, but also the same boat you're in, Vin. Like, I don't read anything other than if I need help. And it's like, so that's like the other half of the reason I got it. But what finally pissed me off is, Vin, you said the same shit about when you were still working in finance. They send you these stupid fucking coupons. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'd pay for it, $350 a year for the Wall Street Journal. And they send you a coupon. If you're a new subscriber, get 3 months for $1. And it's like, oh, you can't, no, you're already an existing subscriber. And it's like, well, then why did you send that to me? You're making me feel like a piece of shit because I'm paying you $30 a month for this shitty newspaper that I only read 2 pages out of. Yeah.
And you know, we all used to work in finance. I mean, you guys are more knowledgeable than I am. I was just a back office guy. But, you know, to do that, you have to read the journal every day, and because you need to be on point with what's going on. But I don't know where I'm going with that. But
I'm not a finance guy. I don't know.
Yeah, they have a core audience that they won't lose. I mean, it's like every bank, every major office would have the FT, they'd have fund strategy. You know, all the big publications would be in for you to read in the morning. And, you know, you assume they made more effort to write their stories than you would make reading some finance blogs. So nowadays, if they're not gonna do a better job than some random, like if Zero Hedge has better analysis than the Financial Times, like what are you gonna pay the Financial Times for? No, I'm not saying it does. I mean,
but you know what? If all these big corporate companies want to do things their way, the old school way, that's fine. I mean, me and my clients, we're just going to be nabbing up all the low competition keyword real estate and making money doing it. So for now, it's working for us.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think there's another. I mean, Garrett and I spoke about this before. There's another 5 years when it's going to be easy. People are talking about already. Oh, it's super hard to do anything. There's another 5 years when it's going to be easy because these old-fashioned publishers haven't figured it out yet. I mean, there's one brand really that we've spoken about that's from the old media that's doing really, really well, and that's the New York Times. They've figured out how to do a paywall. They've figured out who to buy. They've figured out the stuff that Zuck's figured out. Like, you build your main brand, Facebook, you do really well. You see someone else doing some stuff that's different, but that's eating into you, you buy it. And that's what they did. They're not going to make the wire cutter on the New York Times, but they see someone eating into things that traditionally they would have liked to do. You know, like they had a review section. You know, they review products in the big national newspapers.
Yeah.
The wire cutter was eating their lunch, so they just bought it, and that's what Zucks did with Instagram. And what's the stupid chat that everyone uses? WhatsApp. He bought that as well, didn't he? Like,
do people in America use that?
I
have no idea.
I've never met anybody, even America. I don't know. I've never met anyone in America that uses it. I don't know anyone in Europe that uses it. It seems like a Middle Eastern type, really popular thing from what I see, but I don't know anyone that uses it.
It was popular in Britain for a while, but like,
what is it? I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's a cross-platform chat system.
It was basically the advantage of it over.
So like integrates like Messenger and Snapchat and whatever.
What it was it was to compete with like AIM and all these other messengers.
Who the fuck uses?
You didn't need to. No. But when it came out, you didn't need to know someone's screen name. All you needed to do was know their cell phone number, and you could message them for free. So instead of paying 10 cents, it was just automatically free. And if they had WhatsApp, you could message them for free. So, and if it was a different country, like say I wanted to send a text to Vin, that might cost me $1 right now. Obviously, all of this is irrelevant these days. I don't know why it still
so
exists,
it's been it's been around that long, and that.
Yeah.
So I guess my flaw in the ointment is I had never heard of it up until recently, and I don't mean to disrespect the smaller third world countries, but that might be the reason they're still using it.
Yeah, it's you can send the messages over Wi-Fi or the internet. So
Okay.
and then it's also there's some kind of like cross-platform thing where you can put all of your messaging shit into one central source. And then like Steve said, you could also just if you have somebody's phone number, you can message them that way too for no cost.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like everyone's eating their lunch now. I mean, Skype, if you have someone's number, you can just put their number into Skype and message them on Skype. And, you know, every platform's kind of eating their lunch now. But like did originally what the New York Times is doing now. You buy people that are eating your lunch and expand
it's just classic business growth.
Yeah. But I think we've got, for like we spoke about before, Garrett, I think we've got 5 more years before all the big brands figure it out. I mean, like Vin just spoke about, there's still people arguing about whether it's worth, oh no, we don't want SEO, let's just stay on brand.
Yeah.
You know, we've got 5 more years when it's going to be easy. I mean, and if you're struggling now to figure out what to do and how to grow your site, I mean, Vin's a few months into a new site. It's like eating people's lunch. It's growing like this. I mean,
did you see the rankings for that site? It's I did a lot of keyword research for that site, but
it's just like this, man. I mean,
and I have zero links.
For those of you who don't know, like he's posted some of the graphs in public, so you can find some of the shit that Vin spoke about or what he's up to and stuff. I mean, from earlier on, I mean, like 4 months ago when he was just, but I mean, like if you're struggling now, it's still easy now. You've got no excuse. There's so much free information. Like just put the time in. You have to be better than you used to be. But
I think a big point that, and this is like a public service announcement for SEOs, is stop spreading yourself so thin. Focus on 1 or 2 projects. I mean, even you guys, if you got 7 sites, you're gonna run out of resources, man. Do 1 or 2 sites and put your whole heart into it. And
I mean, all joking aside, that's our plan. I mean, the plan is we've got all these old properties and a couple of new ones, and they're all making like some upward movement. We're going to give them all kind of an equal push, and the winning 2 are going to be like our double down, and that's all we're going to focus on once they move.
Yeah.
The problem is the shittest ones are the ones that actually make some money, and the ones that we thought. And the ones that we thought were going to be amazing are struggling. So we just want to kind of give it another 6 months of just an even push. And if the shit ones are still the ones that are making us all the money, then fuck it. We'll double down on the shit ones, whatever.
I had a site. I had my very first affiliate, or actually my second affiliate site. It was my first like authority site. And it got totally slapped by Penguin 2 in 2013. But me and Jared are just like adding more content to it and doing a little link building. And it's the ugliest site in the world too, but it's aged now and it's got a little bit of authority.
Yeah.
And I think we're making like $700 to $1,000 a month with like no work.
Happens with ours as well. Like our shittest ones are our oldest ones because they're ones that I did before Garrett was even like out of his, like when Garrett was 13 or something, I started some of it. I mean, it's like we're talking about serious old school shit, like you know, Sherlock does Google.
Wait, yeah, how old are you? I thought we're all the same age.
No, Garrett's
I'm 32.
Garrett's a young gun.
I'm 27.
Oh, that's not that young. That's okay.
I'm gonna pretend to be 29 since.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm the old boy here, and Garrett's the young gun, and Ben's in the middle.
I don't know if you noticed, but I got this ridiculous stray gray hair in my beard that I cannot.
And I'm gonna cover up my gray beard here now. Well, I've cut my hair cut actually. When it's this short, it's okay. If you watch some of the older episodes of the show, my hair's longer. You can see plenty of gray on this side.
I think we should all three of us should just be happy that we still got hair on our head, and that should be the baseline right there. We got the hair.
I'm very pleased. Yeah, if I make it to like 50 and I haven't really gone bald or anything, then I fuck it after that.
Yeah.
Who cares? Then?
Anyways, back to some publisher stuff. Once again, Barry at the Round Table is covered. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Google had made a deal with the publishers that they used to have to give away one free article click. If they came in off Google, they could see the article for free, and then after they did that, they get paywalled again. But they're starting to implement some new publisher knowledge graphs. That's kind of interesting, and I guess I don't necessarily know that it's related to what I just said, but it seems like the timing kind of aligns in the back of my mind that they're working on something, and this might just be a part of it. But
I mean, this is their kind of anti-Facebook stuff, the whole like being friendlier to publishers than, because Facebook tried their instant articles and the publishers hated it, and then Google's AMP has been a massive success by comparison, and now they're talking about paying publishers and putting publishers in the knowledge graph, and they're really trying to attack Facebook because they know Facebook's biggest thing is that people do pick up news stories on there and do like, if they can win publishers over, it's kind of powerful for Google. Especially
so what this is that if you're a brand, you're going to have your own knowledge graph, and it's going to display.
Yeah. Look at the picture of the Tennessean. Like they've got a whole.
Yeah.
And
that's pretty cool.
You can scroll the articles, so you could type in. What they're trying to do is expand the behavior. You know, where users, like if you want to know what the weather's like, you don't go to weather.com. You type weather and your town, and then you just get the instant result on Google. Why would you bother going to weather.com and having the ads and the JavaScript and all the pain in the ass you have to do there? Now, if you want to see the Tennessean's articles, they're straight on Google News. You scroll them, you click it, and I bet it pops up in a Google News thing. Like,
yeah,
I mean, with sort of 70% of the world's phones, that's like a super powerful feature, because then suddenly it's like, I tend to prefer the Guardian, or I tend to prefer the Tennessean or whatever. I'm not going to like scroll Facebook and click on the odd news article and read it on. Just going to.
How does this affect revenue for the Tennessean if somebody's never landing on their site and they're just reading the information?
I think it's going to depend on your jurisdiction, because in Europe they're talking about paying publishers. I don't know what their plan is. I think they're playing it jurisdiction by jurisdiction. Google, they're like going to obviously try and keep as much of the money for themselves as they can. That's any
I
don't judge them for that. They're going to be smart about how they give the money out, but at the end of the day, I guess the Tennessean is going to prefer this to whatever random clickbait wins on Facebook.
Right. Yeah, it seems like Google's going to have to.
What it isn't it? You know, which is
let's say this. Let's say this first. Has there been a lawsuit yet against Google from a publisher for?
In Germany, quite a few, yeah.
And how has that gone?
I mean, generally the European Union is pretty anti-monopoly, so there's going to be some compromises that Google has to make towards the publishers in Europe. Like we spoke about the other week, until the case has gone through completely, we've got no idea. It's just pure speculation.
Yeah.
Google's going to fight it. You know, Microsoft looked like it might have to break up at one point, and they ended up surviving. So there's a limit to what the European Union's prepared to do, because they don't want to disadvantage their citizens. You know, like if Google wasn't good in Europe, it would be pretty stupid. So they can't regulate Google to the point where Google sucks in Europe and it's amazing in America. But, you know.
Now with these new knowledge graph panels, is the publisher going to have control over what is displayed, or is it simply what Google wants to do?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because
it's a new feature, so
it doesn't say. Yeah. Well, they've pulled it from Wikipedia in this example, which we know is common for them to do to begin with.
Well, that was the beginning of the knowledge graph, wasn't it?
So, right. Yeah. So, do they start pulling from? I don't know. I think it might just be a wait and see who they start pulling the data from again. But
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm way behind on all this knowledge graph stuff and search console and schema.
You keep
I got
saying
to.
that. You're the schema and knowledge graph king.
I know. I got to. I know how it works. I haven't implemented on my sites yet.
Yeah. We're gonna get it all out of it. Don't worry, guys. When we're live in Las Vegas next week and Vince had some drinks, he's gonna share just a couple of little secrets. At least two. You can promise them two, right? Like you don't have to reveal your whole playbook, but you can give the viewers 2 secrets next week in Las Vegas, right?
Are you gonna be wearing your pink cowboy hat next week? Is that still happening?
If we can find some, we will all be wearing our pink cowboy.
No.
You people are wimps. Like, come on, for the old days, for Donkey Talk, for the old poker show.
I was never on it.
Well, you were like 12. Like, obviously, you couldn't play online poker there.
Anyways, so Snapchat missed earnings. I don't know if this is the second quarter in a row or not, but
Snapchat's dead.
Yeah, so the reason I want to talk about this because, I mean, the last couple of years, obviously it was really popular, but it's always been like a really novel idea to me where it's just going to be a hit and fade. I don't know what they're going to do to bring it back. The article says the CEO has all these plans for new improvements and new updates, but it's like you look at Facebook, who has Snapchat, their own version of Snapchat incorporated into it. I don't use it,
right.
But it's like okay, it's just one more reason for people to stay on Facebook and not even.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to use Snapchat all the time. Now it's like an annoyance for me. I go into it and I look at all the other people's stories for the day, and it's like, God, I just don't even fucking care anymore. I don't want to see what you did.
It's because people aren't sending you. It's because people aren't sending you live messages on there anymore. Like you used it because people communicated with you on it. Now people are using it to share their stories and other bullshit, which is why you don't use Facebook much because you didn't give a shit about their bullshit on there. Like their advantage was that they were different from. And then they brought stories out which they thought would be a win for them, but all it was something that was more aligned with Facebook and Instagram's users.
Yeah.
So it made more sense for it to be on someone else's platform. So it wasn't just that Instagram was able to implement it, it was that it made more sense for it to be on Instagram or Facebook in the first place. Like people like Garrett that were using Snapchat, it was him and his friends when he was in college, they would send each other messages, and it was just a communications platform that was super convenient. It was quick. The video was better integrated than Facebook. It was everything. You could write things on it. Everything about it was like for quick, easy, better communication. And then they tried to make it like a story and a wall and all this bullshit. That belonged somewhere else in the first place. They moved away from what they were good at. And where they needed to be innovating was on making something that enhanced what they already did and make that something that became the new text messaging for a generation. So people like Garrett that were on it from college would stay on it forever because it was better than messaging.
You hit the nail on the head. It was all about the instant gratification of the instant video. Yeah. And let's be real. Like Snapchat blew up because it enabled college kids to be little perverts with each other, and
supposedly no one would ever know.
Yeah, exactly. And they even built a feature in to let the people know if your snap was screenshotted, on the other side.
The truth is, no one ever did care or know. It was only when politicians snapped their dick to their interns and shit. That anyone cared. Two college kids having some fun. No one ever cared, and no one will ever know. Like it only became public when famous people did stupid shit on there, and famous people will do stupid shit. That's just how the world rolls. It doesn't matter what platform it is. They used to like take pictures and slide it in their interns' envelopes and stuff. You know what I mean? Like nothing's changed. These old pervs, and have you read the stuff that's going on over here in Britain at the minute with our politicians?
No.
They're all making Bill. Literally, the whole House of Commons is trying to make Bill Clinton look like a nice, smooth, well-behaved gentleman. Not that I'm saying. Just because I do live in England, just to be clear, not that I'm saying Bill Clinton isn't a well-behaved gentleman. He very much is. There's my Slick Willy golf ball. I've just got my Slick Willy golf ball somewhere here. Hold on.
But yeah, man.
I love my Slick Willy golf ball. It says Slick Willy, a good lie guaranteed.
Right.
the best golf ball to
It's
play with. You never miss the green.
the whole idea of Snapchat is like it's a single feature social network, and now it's been disseminated across all the other social networks. I mean,
Look, I mean, if you're gonna make a social network, you have to revolutionize social. I mean,
yeah.
you're not gonna win. Well, you're gonna get bought by Facebook, or you're gonna lose. I mean,
What about that other one? Periscope.
Google tried with unlimited money. Well, Periscope's dead. They got bought by Twitter.
It is dead, right? Yeah.
Well, they got bought by Twitter, so it's just Twitter instant video now, or whatever.
But I see a lot of
You'll get bought, and they killed.
I still see a lot of weird brands using Periscope. Like, I don't really know why, but like radio stations and TV stations seem to like radio stations more than TV station, obviously. But like every radio station around here is like they're doing the morning show, and don't forget to log into Periscope and check us out while we're or doing our broadcast. And it's like,
well,
why don't you just set up a fucking webcam in your office and
Twitter works. Twitter works better for news media because there's still a lot of like if you watch boxing or something during the fight, everyone's on Twitter talking about it, like the hashtags and stuff. So for media and stuff, that's Twitter's own. The only reason Twitter still exists is because of the news media and the way it works well for live discussions on the hashtag. And obviously, if you've got a Periscope and you're a news or music channel or whatever, it makes sense for you. And during a show, people talk on the hashtag, like the hashtag Walking Dead hashtag during the Walking Dead and stuff. But
I know when I watch football, I'm on Twitter the entire game because because Twitter you're getting your news much faster than any publication.
Yeah. I mean that's where Twitter's got its advantages: the live sports and TV discussions and stuff like that. But I mean, in terms of like, if you're going to start a new social network, you have to revolutionize the game, and even then, you'll probably get bought by Facebook. I mean, Google had an unlimited budget. They bought out Google Plus. It looked better than Facebook. It was more professional than Facebook. It had all the features of Twitter. It was like the ultimate social network feature-wise. No one used it. It just died. It just gradually, because your grandma wouldn't go on it, because why would she bother?
Right. And I think Google Plus's failure was a marketing failure, just because that they advertised it to. I think they were pushing it on marketing professionals first, or just corporate professionals first.
No, that was just who happened to end up using it.
Yeah.
That wasn't their intention.
No, it was. It actually was along those lines, because remember, Google Plus was an invite-only type thing. For the first year and a half, and they only released it to people in high corporate positions, and they trickled it down, which it spread out obviously, but for the first year and a half,
you had to get an invite. You had to know somebody that had it, and they had like 10 invites, and they would give it to you. Yeah. So what they were trying to do is like what Facebook did with the exclusivity of only being at Ivy League schools at first. They were trying to do that with like
except they were like 5 years late to the party.
Yeah.
I mean, I think basically you can't replace something with something that's slightly better and expect to win.
No.
And objectively, I mean, I'm not a big social media fan anyway. I use LinkedIn, Twitter, or whatever, but Snapchat objectively is not better than Facebook. Like, it just isn't. It objectively is not better. I mean. So it does like Garrett said, it does one thing very well originally, and now Facebook's eating up some of that advantage. It doesn't do anything better than Facebook. So I would be amazed if, I mean, Twitter I think will last longer than Snapchat would be my prediction, but just because Twitter has a use that none of the other social networks have, like everyone's on Twitter. Reasons that Ben said. You get an old man at 32 there who still jumps on Twitter every sports game. I mean, come on, like Snapchat. Can you really see? Garrett's already fed up with Snapchat at 27, and he was in the window of people who assumed Snapchat was the social network, and he's already done with it. Vin's made it to 32. I've made it to much older, and we're both still on Twitter for that kind of stuff. I think Snapchat's done. I think Facebook's going to win.
You know what I just realized? I've been using Facebook since 2000. 2003 or 2004.
That's pretty cool.
It's a long time, really.
It is for
Yeah.
a social network. Yeah.
Well, I was a late adopter. I didn't want to leave MySpace because I thought that was it. So I got into the Facebook game late, but I've been on for like 10 years now, I think.
Yeah.
Did you like
It's weird when you look
flaming-
back
your
and
flaming logo and pink background? But that's good.
it's weird when you think back on that kind of shit. But
Yeah, I mean, MySpace is a lesson that if someone does innovate enough, Facebook isn't invulnerable. But I don't think any of the platforms people are coming up with innovate enough to worry Zucks and Facebook.
No.
And they've got the money now that they can snap them up. And if
Well,
you're
yeah.
if you're a founder and someone offers you, $1 billion and 300
you're
million of
not
that,
going to say no. You're
It's
just
just
not
no.
going to.
whereas
Right.
MySpace was not, they didn't have the money to buy Zucks out for what he would have wanted. They just didn't back then. I mean, maybe they could if they'd gone really crazy and partnered with another. I don't know. I mean, there's probably some circumstance in which MySpace could have bought Facebook from Zucks, but it would have been relative to their worth at the time a much bigger chunk of their worth. Like $1 billion to Facebook is like zero.
Yeah.
It is. Whereas to the founder who's eating their lunch and suddenly become worth $1 billion, it's like, yes, please. There's 3 founders, $300 million each. And quite often they get a job at Facebook with stock options as well. It's like,
Just a warning. Just a warning.
There's downside on the bill.
John Sherburne just logged on Skype, so it's probably going to get a 1 minute countdown.
I got to get my timeout button ready.
Yeah.
For this guy.
Just ring the
Do we have any
bell.
more news items here?
Yeah,
Or
just
what?
one more. This last one I saw in Search Engine Land is actually from October 25th. But they put out what they say are their search engine ranking factors of 2017, whatever. And I don't really necessarily care about the report. I just wanted to comment on, and I think we talked about it a couple times, about search engine optimization people and marketers in general seem to have a really poor handle on analyzing statistics. Like a really good example would be like somewhere in the article, it's like 70% of sites that rank in the number 1, 2, or 3 spot have they have HTTPS, and by Search Engine Land's logic, it's a ranking signal. It's like, who's to say that site didn't already rank, but they just went to HTTPS because it's a smart thing to do.
I mean, we just went to it because it got easy. Like, it's so easy now.
You just tell your hosting provider to use,
Okay.
you just email them, I want to Let's Encrypt certificate, set it all up, and it takes 2 lines of code in WordPress, and it's all done.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we couldn't be bothered with it when it was supposed to be a ranking signal originally because we had to do something.
Yeah.
And then now it's just a piece of piss. And like loads of cloud hosts, they give it to you. You don't even have to email them and ask for Let's Encrypt.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
just
But like you were talking about last week, Steve, I think the certificate is going to be an indirect ranking signal where if you don't have it and the address bar says no,
with what's happening
then
with Chrome now
then
and stuff,
that's going to ruin your bounce rate and your time on site.
Yeah,
So
it's what's
it is
happening.
going to be, it is important. I do suggest everybody has it, but I don't think.
Absolutely. I mean, I just meant that because we're going back to before this latest thing with Chrome and stuff. Garrett and I started adding it just because it was easy. Like, we may as well now. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even care anymore. Like, it's probably better for users and it's easy now. So fuck it, we'll do it. So, like, obviously, most sites that are big and in the top
Timeout
10,
already?
Yeah.
I didn't even see what he said. Sorry, Steve, go on.
most of the sites that are like in the top 10, they're going to have the same opinion that me and Garrett are. Like, this is probably better for our users, and it's easy to just flick it on. It's like saying most of the sites in the top 2 positions have English words on the fucking page. It's like,
well, it's the old phrase, correlation does not equal causation, right? So,
and I tell you, some of the people who say that phrase the most are brand Fiskin. They're the most stupid about like applying way too much nonsense to things they think are happening.
Well, that leads me to my next comment on this article. If you guys take the time to read this, it is a nothing but a very big plug for a couple big players in the industry. It's
Well, they were
SEM,
no, it's a panel interview, so it will be a plug for the people on the panel.
but it's another thing. So I've been reading this book
Yeah.
about. It doesn't matter, but there's a quote in it. And the quote is.
No, what's the book? I need a book for my flight tomorrow.
It's that book I told you I bought, and you made fun of me for buying it. It's about.
I
It's
don't
about.
want to know anymore.
Yeah.
You know what? You know
anyways,
what I love about this article is semantic isn't even mentioned.
Right. Yeah.
So
The quote was, I'll just use Vin as an example because the names, it don't matter. But Vin, you and I both sit down every night and read the Bible. We read it. We read it from cover to back every night. You read the black. You read the black text. I read everything that's in white. And like the whole idea is, anyone can go and read this word for word, take what you want out of it, but whatever. And I don't know. I feel like week after week we keep talking about the same shit. If you're unable to derive your own premises and answers and the next big thing, it doesn't have to be the next big thing, but if you're just constantly relying on bullshit like this, like I'm not afraid to say that I don't think anything good comes out of search engine land. Like if you watch that SEO movie, the guy pretty much says, I don't know anything about it, but I was just in the right space at the right time, and I started a big journalism site.
Well, I wrote that article. I don't know if I think it might still be linked on our site a while ago about how coming from finance, and Vince probably felt the same. Coming from finance, where I was used to reading mortgage strategy, fund strategy, all these mortgage introducer magazine, all these industry specialist magazines, where the knowledge, the research, the depth of the articles was spot on. And then coming to this industry, I was horrified by the industry press. It was like just random monks writing posts about whatever the hell they felt like. I was like, what
that also is a source of opportunity for the people that want to dig in and figure out what read between the lines and do their own testing. I mean, speaking of testing, like considering how much money there is to be made if you knew how to game all the ranking factors that Google doesn't tell you. Right. Why isn't there an institute that's just testing every ranking factor all day long and releasing a legitimate data set that says, yes, this works, this doesn't work? I mean,
there are those groups in the Black Hat world.
Yeah,
I've actually been a member of a few of them over the years. The problem with it is the gaming is very ephemeral. Like it lasts for a little while and then it stops working really quickly. So.
Yeah, but how much money can be made in that short time period?
In payday loans, a fortune. Yeah, I mean the whole payday. Yeah, I mean, but what I mean, I think most people aren't interested in that, which is why it's not.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing because let's take Matt Diggity for instance. Like I've only talked to him once very briefly, but he actually puts out a lot of, I think, pretty decent case studies that other people just don't talk about because they're lazy, they don't want to do it. But Matt, he does a really good job, and
Matt does it, and so does Nick Eubanks. Nick isn't as
it's something that we've always mentioned before. Like
very good,
those guys enjoy doing it, and they're not afraid to give out that information because by the time they're giving it out, like obviously I can't say that with full confidence that they know it's already useless, but they probably, I would think, have a good feeling that it's going to be done being useful soon. But the second point is they know just as well as we do. Whoever they tell, 99% of those people aren't going to do it anyways. They're just the poor schmucks that pay the money to learn the secrets and don't actually apply.
We know that because we released our entire agency playbook. Like word for word, the training that we give new outreach consultants is on Builder Society.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I mean, obviously, I don't have the resources to this, but it just seems like a no-brainer to have like a quarterly report of tested and proven ranking signals. And
you can join a lot of Black Hat groups where you can get that information. It costs you a bit of money. I mean, not a huge amount. I mean, they're usually between $97 and $500 a month to join. I mean, I've joined. Yeah, I've joined a few. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I joined them because it wasn't relevant to what my clients were doing or what my clients would want to do, but it was kind of interesting just to see what people were up to, what the tricks were.
Yeah, it's like I hope I don't come off as someone that is totally against all that shit, because I'm really not. It just doesn't play into the work that we do for our clients.
No,
So it's like it's not economical for me to think about it at all. And there is definitely a time and a place for it. It's just not for us. There's no way I could incorporate it, first off. And two, if I wanted to incorporate it into my own work, it would be stupid, because I've already so heavily invested in doing it the way I'm doing it, and it works. And I don't know, it's just...
Well, and we've had our fun in the past, and we've seen the downside of it. You spend $500 and you make $2,000 a month for a year, and then it goes away. It's like, I don't want to make $2,000 on a site a year. I want to make a site that makes $50,000 a month, and I want 6 more of them. You know what I mean? So we're playing a different game now, but the information's available to you guys. You can find it. The keys, like Garrett said, you find the black hats and people like that are sharing information that's totally legit, and you have to be able to measure what is legit. Like, I'm not telling you to go buy everything that Biggity buys. He's not someone that I follow or respect particularly. I think there's some good shit that he's done, but I don't have any opinion on it beyond that. But there are people who share some super cool case studies, and you can get access for like $97 a month to their private communities. It's a shame that Aaron Wall's community's gone. The SEO book community was, Jesus, it was so legit. It's unreal. It was $500 a month.
Another guy, I doubt any of these guys watch this, but there's a guy named Stephen Kang that he's a bit older, but he's also like an old school marketer that is very SEO savvy too. And in his SEO group on Facebook, he is always talking about how, like, he's not afraid to rip on people. Like, if you guys are just doing SEO as part of your, your funnel for your clients, like, you are missing out on so much shit. And he's done like SEO case studies that are very technical and very data driven, and like trying to incorporate, a lot of the not like PR stuff that we would do for clients, but his own interpretations of stuff that really push the needle over your, like, the average 80% of SEOs out there that just can get some rankings momentarily, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. And
right. I don't know. Yeah. Stop. So what do we got here?
I mean, the Iron Sue is trying to get on the call. Should we add him?
Yeah, let's bring in the Iron Sue, because we're about to get on to the main topic, which is what we wanted to for.
The Iron, it's a different Iron Sue, but we can call him.
Yeah. Oh.
Also, guys, I think we got...
How many Iron Sues are there?
Well, there's just one Iron Sue.
Is this John?
Oh, no.
Guys, we have 10 minutes left on the show.
Okay, I hung up on him. I guess we'll skip the lawyer stuff again. It's another week that we just didn't get to it, but
all right.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that leaves us with some reviews. Hey, don't tweet this. My review this week, I don't know why I haven't reviewed it yet, but I see a lot of guys that they need server space, they need basic stuff like access to Microsoft Office, email hosting, all that kind of stuff. If you start a legitimate business, like most people should be, Microsoft will give you 3 years of a free MSDN subscription, full subscription, so you get keys to any operating system you want, any piece of Office, any Visual Studio development software, anything you want, and $150 a month credit to Azure, which means you can spin up your own virtual machines. If you have a client that you're just going to put on WordPress, they have a launch it and forget it WordPress thing, which, I mean, if you're paying out of pocket, it's going to be expensive on Azure, obviously. Like, a WordPress site is going to cost you $40 a month, which is obviously insane. But I mean, if you're starting out and don't even want to pay $20 for a good shared hosting thing, it'll do you good enough. You know, you can do a lot of cool stuff with it.
I really like Azure. I think it's really easy to use compared with AWS. It's set up much better in terms of like launching something, spinning
I
things
think
up.
mine is coming to an end like in the next 6 or 9 months, but it's pretty cool to see. To watch it transform into what it is now. They've done a lot of improvements. Their support's a bit hit and miss sometimes because all of their, well, I guess for Azure, it's outsourced to other companies like Wipro and some other technical data service companies that they need to improve on that. But I guess that's the only thing I don't like about it. Pricing is going to be spendy if you're spending out of your pocket, but if you're a new business, you get 3 years for free. Take advantage of it. Microsoft wants you to be using their platform, and cloud hosting is going to get cheaper as time goes on. I've seen Azure get cheaper by the year.
Well, and I think as well, like if you start your own business and you're going to get 3 years of $150 a month on Azure,
yeah,
by the time that runs out, like you're either making money, so you can pay for,
and that's that's really Microsoft's whole end game is they know the average business isn't even going to make it a year. If someone actually lasts 3 years on their platform and they're still using it, they'll pay that $150 a month. One, because at 3 years, if you're still in business, you could probably give a fuck less about $150 a month.
Exactly.
And two, you can't be fucked to switch your entire infrastructure over to something. It's like.
And honestly, if you've got used to using Azure, AWS is so fiddly and such a pain in the ass. In terms of usability, it's not even the same ballpark. I mean, I know it's slightly cheaper, but allegedly, I mean, I know they, depends on what you do, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it's AWS, every time I look at it, I just get a headache how fiddly it is just to do something basic. Like set up a file store.
I mean, some other things about Azure would be, like, let's say we have a web server, we have a VPS that we rent for our clients, and they have their websites on it, and we want to back up to a remote backup, just in case. It's unlikely anything ever happen. But you're going to need... I mentioned you can just boot up a WordPress site, but they're pretty limited on plug-and-play type stuff. Like, if you're going to do anything remotely difficult, you need to understand like how to use Linux servers or spin up a Windows server or something, and they don't configure anything for you. Like, you can't just, like, Steve, you're a fan of Python Anywhere, where you can just boot up a Python instance. You can't do that in Azure. You need to load up a virtual machine, know how to install Python and all the dependencies and all that stuff, which is technically difficult. I struggled getting all that shit set up for Rails, but I won't keep talking about it. We gotta get moving. So,
is this like? Did you just say this is like Adobe Creative Cloud? It's kind of like the same concept, right?
Well, so a Microsoft MSDN subscription, they give you every Microsoft product for free for 3 years. But Azure is cloud hosting, as in virtual machines.
It's an AWS competitor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's super cool. It's really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I almost thought about starting a company in America, in Delaware, just to get the package Garrett got, but it was like, more. It wasn't worth it just to get the Microsoft stuff.
I mean, it's definitely worth a lot of money, but it's
not worth that much hassle. But if you're already American and you're setting up a company and you're going to be trading online, they want you to have it. Take it. I mean, you don't need to pay for hosting.
No.
Cool.
No, it's cool. Yeah.
What do you got, Steve?
All right. So everyone's using Google Analytics. There's and I'm going to. This is a shout out to Brighton SEO and Web Certain, the SEO company. They're talking a lot about Yandex Metrica. I'm going to be giving it a go based on the review, and they've got a webinar. I had a quick skim. I didn't watch it all, but basically, I like seeing when it's running again. It's running. They're running a webinar again on Monday the 20th. So if you're a Brighton SEO subscriber, you can get on. Anyway, so basically, Yandex Metrica is kind of going to eat. They're not just eating Google Analytics lunch in terms of being an alternative that does the same shit, shows you some stats. You know all these providers that do movement tracking, mouse click tracking, heat maps, all that bullshit.
Yeah,
They're
like
eating
crazy.
their lunch as well. So for free, they're going to add all of that. Now, it does have some implications if you're an EU business, because obviously you're giving data outside the EU to Russia. You're going to have to deal with all the data privacy restrictions there. But if you're an American company where these are less of an issue, you can use this instead of Google Analytics, but you can get all the stuff that these heat map tracking people are doing and charging you $50, $100 a month for. You get it all for free with the Yandex Metrica, which is insane. I mean, it's just a ridiculous amount of functionality to be giving away in an analytics package. Obviously, they're doing it because they want to, compete with Google, and they're trying to get more data, because obviously more data, the way Google has, means better rankings. Better rankings means better search engine. So they're trying to get more data. They're getting their tracking software on people's sites so they get better data. But while they're doing it, this is an insane deal. So especially we've got a couple of sites where conversion to lead is super important. So I think we'll probably be giving this a whirl a little bit over 6 months, and 6 months' time we'll probably do a more detailed review. But I think right now, so big thanks to WebCertain for putting the webinar on. Looks like it's an insane amount of features compared with Google Analytics. So if you hate Google and you don't have Google Analytics installed anyway, this is a pretty cool alternative where you can get the same kind of power, enterprise functionality, plus knock out having to pay for all those other heat map shit. Looks pretty cool.
Cool, man. Yeah, so these guys, my review this week is going to be for SEO Mator. So it's like SEO Automator.
Okay.
It's another tool. These guys reached out to me this week and gave me an account. I guess it's something that would be most similarly resemble like SEMrush or Ahrefs, but they're just getting off the ground, so all their tools aren't in place yet. But for the price, it's I think you can get it for like $5. It's a nice little SEO tool. You can do a lot of it'll crawl your site like most of these tools, and it'll give you all kinds of on-site and optimization, flags and errors if you're not doing something properly. They have a domain comparison tool. They have an audit widget that you can embed in your WordPress platform, so you can right on your dashboard you can get information. You're doing something wrong and you got to optimize something better. And then they have monitoring too, which is I assume is going to be like a rank checker. So I'm still digging in, but so far it's pretty cool. And the guys were nice enough to give me an account, so giving them a shout out here. I'll
Cool.
post the link here.
So that's SEO Mator.
SEO Mator. Yeah.
Automate your SEO.
Yes, sir.
So I guess the don't tweet this for this week. I think we're gonna tweak her down to just say.
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just do 2. But I think Vin had to take off for a minute, so we can just finish this up. My don't tweet this is if you're selling a product or a service, and this seems to be something we also talk about too much, you need to be honest with your sales products and your description or whatever, because all it's going to take is one savvy person to tear apart your lies. Vin and I have been having a go at some people in the Facebook SEO groups because you guys are blatantly lying about what you're offering. And if you were a real business, we would have already filed litigation, and we would have bankrupted you and happily done it. It's disgusting to see, but it's just not okay. It destroys industry. It destroys trust in future clients for everybody. And I know everyone wants to make money, but if the only way you can do it is to be such a shitty person, I don't know, because some of the screenshots I have, I could take you to court and I would easily win. That's all the proof I need. And then when you delete the comments, it makes it look that much worse. So I'm happy to keep playing the game. But
yeah, and we're actually going to do a webinar on that, which would be super cool. Me and Garrett are going to be doing that probably when we get back from the UnGagged conference. Just around reading sales pages, because even more insidious are the ones where they don't even lie. They use ambiguous wording and cloak what they're actually doing. But it's actually, to an SEO insider, it's super obvious. But even to some relatively experienced buyers, they get sucked in by, oh, I don't want to do, I actually had someone say to me, oh, I don't want to do paid links, but I use XYZ company to do my outreach. And they're a 100% paid links company. So, but because it says, oh, we do white hat on the website, they're, then they think they're not doing paid links. Right. But they are. They're doing paid links. But they have a client. They have a client that they're promising they're not doing paid links. And because we're honest and we're like, right, on this product we don't do paid links. On this product we do paid links. We're 100% upfront. Yeah. They won't use us, but they'll use this other company that's not lying.
Yeah,
but they're obfuscating what they're doing.
Yeah,
which is the same.
I don't know how many times I've gotten off in the last month about people claiming to do outreach. I'm like, I don't care if you're doing paid links. Just admit that you're doing it. You're not doing outreach. You have a list of links to buy from. Like, that's not. You may have outreached them at one point.
That's the thing. That's exactly what we're going to go into, because they'll say outreach links, and yes, they did negotiate the paid link.
But it's been 2 years. You've dumped 1,000 of your clients' websites on them, effectively turned it into a PBN that has likely gotten hugely devalued. You've put your clients' websites at risk because you don't give a fuck who you're actually linking to. You just want the $20 for your link. I guess you get what you pay for. What do I know?
Yeah, so my don't tweet this is super simple. It's for all of you who are affiliates out there. I see this so much, it's insane. Like all the discussions on forums and stuff, people assume that the deals that are publicly available through the big affiliate networks are the deal that they are the best they can do. They're scared to negotiate, scared to pick up the phone. I was thinking back to when I was in the poker space, and that's when I discovered kind of what you can do. So the big poker networks were doing 5%. That's what you got. You got 5% of the monthly revenue, and that was it. So Garrett and I emailed the owner of one of the poker rooms in America, and he gave us 15%. And then we were like, well, let's see what else he'll give us. So he gave us 15% plus $1,000 a month to spend on just giving away in tournaments, paying people to make videos on the site. So we could give our top players, oh, here's your $500 as long as you make 3 videos.
Yep.
And there's a $500 reward tournament. So we were actually up to close to 23%. And everyone else is out there promoting it some 5%. And we've got another mortgage site. Like we have an exclusive deal with the lead network. So we have a fixed minimum price of £20 a lead. Just someone putting their email address and name in it. They don't have to qualify for a mortgage, and we get £20. Typically, you're getting £2-3 quid for that. So, you've got to negotiate. If you've got good quality leads, if you've got good traffic, if you've got a good site, and you can show that data to someone, and you can prove that you've got a good site, get on the phone with the owner of the affiliate network, get on the phone with the actual brand that's there, and negotiate a straight-up deal. Some of them will tell you to fuck off, but it's just 5 minutes that could be worth 400% growth. Like, what would you rather do? Try and get 400% more traffic, or make one phone call and maybe just get it for free? Yep. That's my don't tweet this. Affiliate deals are not what they seem. Pick up the phone.
Yeah, for sure. That's a pretty good idea. Not a good idea, but it's a good thing to do. It's not just an idea.
Actual. Yeah, well, it didn't even occur to us to just take the deals when we started. We're actually more pussies now. We just sign up for stuff and slap it on the site now more than we used to. I mean, when we were starting, we used to fucking bug everyone to get a better deal.
Yeah. But I guess that wraps everything up. The last little bit of news we have is next week we'll be in Vegas. Steve flies out in about 7 hours now. Tuesday, if you're in Vegas, and even if you're not at UnGagged, you're welcome to join us. We have a few slots left. Tuesday night after the networking mixer thing at UnGagged, we have a limo coming to pick up 16 of us.
7:30.
What's that?
7:30.
7:30, 7:30ish.
Yeah.
That's when it gets over, right? So make sure you're there at
Yeah,
7:30
right
so
on.
we can rally the troops and get in the limo and cruise around Vegas for a little bit and some champagne. Then we're Gordon Beer dinner is on us. Drinks, food, whatever you want. Fuck it, let's do it. If you're in town, hit us up. If you're at the conference, hit us up. If there's any seats left, we're just gonna hit up the UnGagged app thing and fill it up that way. But we'd rather see people that are watching us every week. So
Yeah, it should be really
there's
good. I mean,
no strings. It's really just come join us and have a good time.
yeah, I mean, we've got marketers coming in who aren't at the conference, people that are friends. It's a really good opportunity just to hang out with some other online marketers. There's no sales pitches and stuff. Word agents and Reach Creator are paying the tab, but there's be no sales pitches. We're just going to be shooting the shit like on the live show. I think you get a good feel for what we're like by now. It'd be like that, but with more beer and at a bar.
Yeah, it'll be a good time.
And we're live from Las Vegas next Wednesday.
Yes, we will be live
And it
Wednesday
probably
again.
won't be at the exact time. It's going to be lots of random segments and
Yeah,
interviews.
I think throughout the
loads of
week we'll
shit.
be doing some live shit once in a while, impromptu, but sometime around this time Wednesday we'll be on. Not Thursday, Wednesday again. I'm flying out Thursday. Vin flies out Wednesday night, doesn't he?
So it'll probably be, it'll be
Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon. Maybe
Lunchtime?
sometime around 11 a.m. Wednesday, I think, Las Vegas will do the show.
Okay. So about 2 or 3 p.m. Eastern time, something like that. There's 3 hours, so yeah, like whatever, sometime around there. I don't know. We'll
Lunchtime in New York. Just after lunch in New York, we'll be live. But there'll be loads of live stuff during the week.
Yeah.
And as promised, we're going to do some interviews. We're going to have some Don't Tweet This segments where we share some stuff that we wouldn't share on the show for a bigger audience. It's not going to be on the YouTube channel. It's going to be things like Facebook Live, stuff like that. So, but all the details. When we're all land, probably Monday morning, we're going to do a YouTube episode where we just let you know where to look for stuff, and then the stuff's just going to come during the week. It's super cool.
Yeah. All right, I think that's a total wrap. Don't forget to smash that like button. Email Sassy Steve with all your SEO questions, no matter how trivial.
No, I want a phone call from big brand managers who think they know better than them. And I'll tell you if you don't.
Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. We already said like. Everything else, I don't know, tell your friends. Going into the new year, the case study should actually be going somewhere. I can tell you exactly what I did. I don't care if the site gets publicized. It's just going to be fun. See what works, what doesn't. It'll be good times. If you had it on the gig, don't forget to check in. Really, let's meet up. Even if you don't want to come to dinner, fuck it. Let's get a drink at UnGagged. I'm not going to be going to many of the presentations. I'd rather sit at the bar and meet people.
Going to 2, so I'm pretty free too.
I don't even know who's talking.
I tell you, Cygnus SEO is talking, so
I don't like him.
I think that's Wednesday, 10 a.m. That's the only one you need to go and see, guys.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of someone else. Okay, yeah, I'll go watch him. I do like his stuff on Twitter whenever I log in once a month. But
legit black hat dude.
Yeah, who am I thinking? There's someone else that must have a similar name that I don't like. It doesn't matter. I do like him.
I know who you mean. Actually, I'm not going to say his name.
Yeah,
sure, but yeah, I know who you mean.
Yep. It's all right. See you.
Starts with the same first 2 letters.
Yeah.
Looks for boys.
Yeah. Yep. That's where it's from. We will see you throughout next week. Check in. I'll make some updates on Facebook. Steve can do something on Twitter. Check in with Vin. Sunday, nothing's going on, so we'll start Monday.
Yeah, Monday morning.
All right.
First thing. on Facebook right, and on YouTube.
All right. See you guys next week.
Snapchat, Instagram. See you next week.